Hi, Katie. It's so nice to see you again.
It's good to see you. I'm happy to be here.
So last week we talked about how you were going to court this week to figure out everything with your son. How did that go?
Well, I ended up getting in a little bit of a dispute because I was late to court. My husband, well, ex-husband now, wasn't very happy with that, so I don't know how that looks in terms of getting my son full custody.
How did you feel after you left the court?
I guess I felt disappointed in myself, but at the same time, I just didn't feel good all around. I don't know how to feel better about it.
So you're feeling a little disappointed in yourself that you were late and that was something you could have controlled.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wishing that could have gone a little bit differently in terms of how you might get your son.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else I really could have done, but I guess my habits are running over into my responsibilities in my everyday life.
So what habits are you saying that are like an issue right now?
Well, I've been finding myself drinking wine before going to bed, I guess. And, I mean, it helps me sleep better dealing with all this, then I don't really think about it. But I think it might just make me sleep a little harder and not wake up from my alarm and then...
So what I'm getting at is that you're using alcohol as a coping mechanism to dealing with all of your problems.
I didn't look at it like that, but I guess so. It could be. It just helps me sleep better. I don't know what else to do.
So do you want to get your son back? Is gaining custody something you're interested in doing?
I would love to have my son with me, especially full time. I mean, he is a great dad, and I wish we could just be together, but I don't know. I would love to have my son. I don't like an empty house.
So I'm hearing that on one hand you really want your son and you want him back, but on the other hand you aren't taking steps to get your son back. You're still drinking. We had talked about going to AA. Have you gone to any of those meetings?
I don't know. I've just been so busy, but I guess I could start going now that I was late to court, and it could maybe make me look better.
What have you been busy with? Tell me a little more about your days, as I know your job, you're having a few issues there.
Well, I've been trying to keep up with my work, but it keeps me there late now. I have been showing up a little bit late, but then by the time I get home, I'm exhausted, and I guess I need time to unwind.
So what I understand is that there's things you know you want and need to do, but you're just feeling too tired to do them.
Yeah, and if I already have to go to work, I don't want to have to go to something else, you know?
So what do you think would help you feel that you could come home from work and get everything done?
I guess if my son were there, I'd want to be a better mom for him, but whenever he isn't, what's the point?
So you're feeling that it would be great if you had your son, but you don't right now. It sounds like you might be feeling a little bit hopeless in getting your son.
Kind of. It's hard whenever I just can't see him right in front of me, and right now I don't have him, so I don't know how to gain him back.
So I would say something you'd like to work on is figuring out ways to make the time with your son good so that you want to find a way to keep getting him back.
Yeah. I want him to enjoy his time with me, and I want to make sure it's good every time, but then whenever he isn't there, there's no purpose for me.
Do you find that there's times that you are with him that you maybe don't know what to do with him or he doesn't enjoy it?
Maybe. Normally I just let him pick whatever we do, and I just go with it, because if he picks it, then I know he's happy doing it.
Do you think maybe he'd like it if you were to come up with things that he could do?
Maybe.
Do you think maybe brainstorming a few ideas of things would help?
It would definitely make me want to do more, I think.
Okay. So how old is your son again?
He's 11.
11 years old. So why don't you tell me a little more about your son and things he likes to do?
Well, he really likes sports, which is why him and his dad get along so well, because they can just go out in the yard. But it's hard because I'm in an apartment without a true yard. But he also really likes math and history. He has some good friends that live close to my house, too.
Okay, so you mentioned that he likes sports, math, history, and he also has friends around. Have you looked into seeing if there's any maybe parks around that you could take him to play sports?
I guess I could do that.
Okay, so we'll put that one down. Finding a field or somewhere to play.
That would be fun. Because right now we really only ever go to the dog park, and it's just to keep our dog happy.
Oh, so it's not really a focus on him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you're doing these things just to keep him busy? Or it sounds like you just go with the flow and do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just don't want him sitting on my couch bored, or even if he just wants to watch TV. I want to make sure we're doing something so he has something to go home and tell his dad about, too.
So it might sound like you are a little bit competitive with your ex-husband, wanting to make sure that he can tell his dad all the cool things you did. Is that correct? Or
if you want to look at it that way, it could be.
So do you think you are a little bit competitive with this?
Yeah, I mean, I just want him to want to live with me. That's the big thing.
So you would say the base of all of this is that you want your son to want to live with you and not your husband.
Mm-hmm. I want to be able to have him live with me and have him be happy to be there.
So you want your son to be happy, and overall that would make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes down to it, you would say your main goal is to get your son back to living with you as much as possible? Yeah. Okay. So let's continue back to our brainstorming of some things you could do. So we talked about you could find a field and have somewhere to play. What about when it comes with math? What do you notice that he likes?
Well, he doesn't mind actually getting his math homework out and doing it whenever he comes over, which kind of surprises me. I'd be okay with skipping homework for a bit.
So it's not an interest of yours, but you know it's an interest of his. Do you find yourself helping him with the math work or doing other things?
I try to sit down and do it with him, but I don't know. Sometimes I just don't think it's like an extended enough activity to do together.
But if you know that he likes it, don't you want it to be something important to you?
Probably.
So what if you found fun worksheets online that you could print out and do with him?
Add to our homework.
And add to the homework? Yes, you could do that.
And maybe we could do it with his friends that are around, because they are about his age.
Okay, so making contacts with the friends that are around.
Yeah.
With the history, have you thought about things you could do that involve the history?
Well, I guess museums would be fun and stuff like that. I don't know how much money that would be. It's hard being a single salary now.
So another issue would be the money. So if you were to wake up with your dream job and $100 million in the bank, do you think things would be different?
Probably. It would definitely be nice to do endless activities together.
So it sounds like you think that the money would help, that you would be able to do all these things. Yet when you talk about work, you mentioned that you show up late, you leave early, it's not really something you put your all into. Why is that?
I guess it's hard to find something to truly invest myself in, since one of the main things that matter to me is taken away right now.
So because your son was taken away, you're feeling like nothing else matters?
A little bit. Because he is the main thing to me.
So it sounds like you're lacking a little bit of motivation. A little bit of motivation and hope that things will get better.
Especially since he is mainly living with his dad right now. It's like, will I ever get to see him more?
So you have those thoughts of, will he always stay with his dad, and a worry that you might never get him back? Tell me a little more about your relationship with your son.
Well, I think he's excited whenever he comes over to see me. It seems like it, because he always gets out of his dad's car and runs right over to me. We always just have fun activities to do together, like I said. So I feel like we have a pretty easygoing relationship, and I want him to be able to come to me with things. But sometimes I think I forget to enforce rules and maybe structure.
So it sounds like you are that loving, caring, fun mom, but that you lack rules sometimes. Okay. So it's good that you do have that good relationship. So that's something you can focus on, that you have that solid relationship already established.
Yeah.
So, what do you think your next step would be in getting your son? Have you thought about going to AA? Was there anything mentioned in court?
Well, I guess AA wouldn't be a bad idea. I just have to make sure I make myself go because I don't want to go.
So, do you think a good goal would be to go to AA?
Maybe at least try it. I just don't know if I'll like it, and I feel awkward walking in because a lot of people don't know, that this whole thing is going on. I don't like to face it really.
So maybe a goal we could make for this week to come is to go to AA one time.
Okay.
So do you know what days AA is on, or is that something we would need to look more into?
I think it's on Tuesday or Thursday.
So let's backtrack and let's make our goal this week to look up information about AA, find out where the AA meetings are, what you maybe need to bring. How do you think that would work out in your week?
Well, I think it would definitely help me because I can plan just from the comfort of my own home. I like being able to know what I'm walking into, so I guess if I know what to expect and everything, it would help. It's easier than just saying I'll go this week, that's for sure.
Yeah, so it sounds like you know that you want to go because it will help your son. You're just a little scared to take that first step.
I know to look good on paper and in court. I don't know how much I truly need it, but if I will get him back, then I'll do it.
So it sounds like you really want to get him back, yet you're still not taking those proper steps to do that, like going to AA each week, which the court wants to see. Why is that?
Well, I guess after trying so many steps with my husband to make our marriage work, and it just didn't, it's hard to know if things will actually work if I do it. Do what's required of me, I guess.
So you're taking what happened with your husband and projecting on how it might turn out with your child. Is that what I'm getting?
I think so.
So you still have that sense of fear and worry that nothing will work out.
Because he's all I have left now.
Tell me about other things that you like to do that you typically do when you don't have your son.
Well, I do try to run a lot. I think it just makes me feel better, and then it makes the dog happy too. So we do that. I kind of distanced from my friends because they were friends with my husband and they're all still happily married, so I don't really see them as often. I also just learned to crochet.
Okay.
So I've been doing that a little bit more in the evenings. It's just a nice way for me to unwind, I think.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a pretty good list of things that you've been doing and will continue to do. Do you think that it's been hard that you don't have those friends anymore to support you?
Yeah, I used to think they were just really good friends, but they don't ever really just want to hang out like the wives or anything like that. So if we do hang out, it's all the married couples and then me.
So you feel a little bit left out, would you say, when you're with them?
Yeah, and it just rubs it in my face then.
So then do you feel that you get a little jealous when you're in that type of situation?
Yeah, and it's they can work through their problems with their relationship, but we couldn't, so.
Have you come up with other ways or activities that you might be able to meet new friends so that you have that support?
Well, I guess not, since I learned to crochet, and that's a thing to do at home. So, I guess I could work on that, making more friends.
Do you think it would be beneficial for you to have those friends who could support you and make sure you are doing those things you need to do?
Yeah, especially if they would make sure accountability and stuff. It'd be nice if they'd make sure that I would actually go to a meeting and ask me how it was. Because if they ask how it is, then I'd feel horribly if I'm well, I skipped.
So it appears that you're missing that lack of support as you lost your husband. Was he that support for you in your life?
Yeah, and we talked about everything together, so he just became my best friend over all of my other best friends. I mean, we were raising a son together, so.
And now you feel that you're missing that sense of partnership with someone. So, from my understanding, it appears that having that aid or someone to support you would be beneficial. Is that correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind just having a friend to check in on me, and I wouldn't mind checking in on them either.
So it sounds like you're ready to go and make those new friends. You just maybe don't know how to. Is that something?
Yeah, I guess since I'm like just getting over everything else, I don't know how to explain to people that I just went through a divorce. I'm trying to get my son back, and it's not the most appealing kind of friendship starter.
Okay, so you're thinking that because you've gone through all this stuff, they're not going to be understanding and they're not going to want to maybe be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about looking into like a support group or for people who've gone through the same thing?
I haven't thought about that really, but I think I'd rather go to a support group than AA.
Okay, so you're going to look into the AA group this week, and then you also maybe just mentioned looking into other support groups for people who've been through that type of issue.
Do you maybe have like a list or something that
Well,
you give to people before?
I can look up those resources this week, and I can send them your way, and we can talk about those. And if you wanted to look into them in the following week, you could kind of bring up and let me know how that worked.
I'd feel more comfortable doing that.
So you'd feel more comfortable if I were to bring you the resources and you had some places to look into and go?
Just like places that I know are good.
Okay, so what I get is that you're a little afraid that it might not be the right fit for you.
Yeah. I guess I just want to make sure I find the right one.
Would you be willing to try those groups? So it sounds like you really do want to get help, but once again, you're still just not taking that final leap to get that help and support.
Yeah. I just need to do it, and that's where I struggle sometimes.
Okay, so we came up with the idea of finding that support group and just getting it done. So I will get you those resources, and then you can look further into them.
Okay.
And we will work on seeing how that goes and finding a friend in that support group.
Okay.
Do you think that would be beneficial?
Yeah, maybe we could figure out good ways that I could actually just talk to them too, because I don't know how to really confront new friends or.
Okay, so just making the new friends and having conversation in general is tough for you, you think?
Yeah, because right now I know I couldn't really practice because I wouldn't want to be friends with anyone at my work or anything. So if I find a good support group, I just don't want to mess it up.
Okay, so do you think it would help if we were to role play? Is there anyone at work or in anything you're involved in that you wanted to go up and talk to someone?
Maybe at Ethan, my son's games, I could go talk to their moms.
Yeah.
I haven't really talked to before.
Yeah, you had mentioned one of Ethan's friends' mom is a single mom as well. Do you think you could try talking to her?
I don't think that'd be a bad idea.
Okay,
especially if she's gone through something similar or just on her own in general. I don't know her story.
Okay, so let's say we're at Ethan's soccer match, which does he have one next week?
Every Saturday.
Every Saturday. Okay, so on Saturday you see her and you could approach her. What's something you'd want to say to her?
Well, I want to jump right in and ask her to just hang out with her son and Ethan sometime, all four of us. But maybe I could just ask her if I could sit with her.
Okay, so that's a great start. It's clear that you want to create some type of relationship with her. Your son, Ethan, and her daughter are already close friends, so maybe taking that next step of just sitting with her at the soccer game and seeing where that conversation goes.
That's true. Because then we'd have a little bit of time just to talk, and there'd always be something to talk about if we're at the game.
And you already have something in common. So.
That's true.
Okay, so to wrap this session up, we briefly brainstormed a few ideas of things that you could do with your son. However, we took a different direction and kind of found that the underlying problem was that you didn't really know what to do. You didn't know how to take those next steps to get your son back. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I would say that, as we decided, our goal for this week is to sit with Ethan's friend's mom at the soccer game and look more into support groups that might help you be more social with people and have that support person to eventually push you to go to AA.
I think that's a good idea.
All right. Well, I look forward to hearing how it all goes next week.
Sounds good. I'll see you then.
Sounds good.